Hey guys, Danny Jugan, Axis Games. Welcome to our 5th development video where we're going to show you the new modding system that we have set up. And if you did any mods last year, the system will be really familiar to you, but there are a couple changes we've made that will hopefully make things a lot easier to mod stuff, as well as share files and mods that you've done with other people. So the first thing I want to show you is this. So here's the folder that contains all of your mods. So my file structure here is going to be a little bit different than what yours will be, but if you open up your mods folder, that will be in the root directory of your game which you downloaded on Steam. You're going to see that right now there's 3 files, and there are probably going to be more by the time we release because we're going to do stadium mods as well. But we've got 3 files, and I've changed the way this was organized to make it easier for you guys, something that's hopefully a little bit more logical. All of the audio mods are here. It's just like before. It's split into announcer and quarterback, so if you want to change the quarterback, audible, cadence, snap, all that sort of thing, it's divided there. Same thing for announcer. These are all the different categorical comments that they will make. Hot routes is the same. These are the hot routes that you can put in, the name, the different routes they run, and so forth. And there will be specific instructional videos for those. But if you look at team mods, this is the big change that I've done. So in the past, all of the different types of mods were separated into their own folders. So for example, the rosters, the player stats, the uniforms, all of those were their own folder, which means if you wanted to, let's say, replace some of the teams that were in there currently with other teams, then you had to go into each individual folder and replace the Arizona file. So you would have to go, and actually I can show you if we go into last year's, go into builds, PC. So if you go into mods, this is last year's. So if you have the 2015 version, this is what you're used to seeing. Player stats was its own folder, rosters, and uniforms. So if you wanted to, let's say, replace Arizona, you have to replace this file, and then you have to replace this file for the rosters, and then you have to go into uniforms and replace this file. And so it became, as we were adding new things, it became obvious that the way this was set up wasn't best for what you guys did. So I changed the way this was set up. So if you go into the team mods folder now, what you'll see is a list of folders and list of teams. At the bottom, these are all of the source files. So if you want to edit stuff, this is what you're going to use. So if you want to edit the player stats, you use this Excel file, and you can copy and paste from the Excel file into the files in here. Same thing with the rosters, end zone graphics, helmets, midfield logos, the smaller team logo, and then we've got a couple uniform templates for you here as well. And these are completely updated. Joe did an awesome job of updating these, and Ace is doing a bunch of new uniforms, which we're going to take a look at, and something else I was going to tell you. I don't remember. That's what happens at early in the morning. Alright, so here's what I do want to show you. So if you go inside of the folder now, you see a bunch of different stuff. Okay. Player stats and rosters is the same as it was last year, although we'll be adding extended rosters up to 53 men or women. You can go, now team name, open this up. This is where you can change the name of your team. So this will display in-game. So if we wanted to call them the Arizona, instead of the Redbirds, we wanted to call them Bluebirds, whatever. We save this, it'll automatically get loaded into the game. This is the midfield logo that shows on the middle of the field. This is the logo that shows kind of inside of the smaller portion of the UI when it's showing like the matchup. The helmet is what's shown on the team select and also various other screens. You can mod the own end zone graphic that shows up. So whatever files are here is what are going to get loaded into the game. And then we've got a separate folder for uniforms. These are all of Arizona's uniforms. So if we go in here, and these meta files, they won't be there in your version. These are for the Unity editor. But there's really 2 files that, well, there'll be at least 3 files that you'll see. There's jersey number textures, and then each jersey that or uniform that you want to modify. And this jersey number textures contains a list of the colors of the numbers on the jersey, and these get loaded in. So for example, for the home jersey, the color is going to be red 215, green 215, blue 215, which is a grayish, a very light gray color, almost a white. And for away, it's a kind of a darker red color. So all you want to do is, if you want to add new uniforms, you create them and then you add them here, and it'll get loaded in. I will let you know, if you don't specify or you misspell something, it will automatically pull those numbers in as white, which is 255, 255, 255. Okay, so one of the other cool things that we've just finished was being able to support multiple uniform types. So in Access Football 2015, you could only do home and away. Now we are supporting unlimited uniforms. And to show this off, let me change this back to Redbirds so I don't forget. That's the kind of thing that I would forget and would get shipped when we launched. And I'd get angry emails. Okay, so Ace has done some of the alternate and throwback uniforms for the Buffalo, New England, New York, and Miami. And so let's take a look at those. So if we go into Buffalo and then we go inside of uniforms, you'll see that in addition to home and away, we also have a red out and a throwback red helmet. And what I want to do is just briefly walk through the process of how these get edited. So if you want to go in and edit these or create your own, this is how it works. And Ace did an amazing job. I'm going to open this. Ace did an amazing job making these. They look really awesome. But there's a couple things that won't work, and I want to let you guys know this as well as you're designing them. Any sort of text in the uniform isn't going to look good. And the reason for that is, in order to save space memory-wise and have the best performance we can, these textures actually get wrapped and mirrored around the body. So this is really only first half of the uniform that you see. So whatever's here is going to get mirrored on the other side of the player, which means the text is going to appear backwards, which obviously would look kind of bad. So you can't put any text in the uniforms. Obviously this excludes the numbers and anything that would just show on like the back, but we aren't to the point yet where we figured out how to write onto the jersey at runtime. But that's something that we're considering, because we know it would be really cool to see the names on the back of the jerseys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this one and pop these out and show you just a couple things. So I've got the, close out of this. So if we go into Buffalo, and then this is the, we'll do the throwback red helmet and the red out. Both need to be adjusted. And in fact, I'm just going to do, I'll do the red out. I'll adjust the red out one. Let me pull this over here. And I'm simply just going to delete these. And all of these are separated kind of into their own layers, and you can see here. So you can move this stuff around. You can do, change colors and all that sort of thing to create different uniforms. And Joe's also going to be putting out a template that has kind of like good positions for stuff. I believe there's like an early version of it out on the forums. So if you haven't been to the forums, accessgames.proboards.com, there's some templates there and stuff you can start messing around with. And all the stuff you do now it works in the 2015 version. It'll work in the 2016 version. So no worries there. All right, so I'm going to save this. We'll save it. I'll save it here. And then when you're saving this, it's going to save it as a PNG, which are a little bit larger file sizes. I'm also going to save it as a JPEG. Yes, we'll replace replace it. And then wherever it is that you are editing, make sure that you drag it into the mods folder. So where's that? This is the JPEG image, this is the PNG. So I'm going to take this and drag it over here. And I'm actually going to leave the throwback. I'm going to leave that text on there so you can see what I'm talking about. But now we just did that one. And the cool thing here is let's play Buffalo against, I don't know, Dallas. So if we go into Dallas's team, you notice they just have a home and away. That's all that they have. When we go into Buffalo's uniforms, there's, I'm going to get rid of this one. Change this to just red out. Whatever the name that you put here is what's going to be shown in game. Okay. So we've got 4 here, 4 different uniforms for Buffalo. Dallas only had 2. Okay, so if we go into the game now, and I click run, we'll go quick matchup, play versus AI. We go to Buffalo, and we go to Dallas. You'll notice that Dallas, for their uniforms, they have home and away, and that's it. For Buffalo, they've got home, away, throwback red helmets, and there's the red out that we did. Okay, and it cycles through. So, literally, unlimited jerseys that you want to do, it'll automatically pull them into the game and populate the list. You'll have to ignore the UI. There's no text, and there's some issues with various things, but that's because we're redoing all of the UI to make it match what it looks like on the title screen. So we come in here and notice that we've got Buffalo's logo on the midfield, and these are the logos, the red out logos, or the uniforms. These look really cool. So I'm going to go actually and restart, and I want to show you the other one that, so we do the throwback with the red helmet. And just let them play against Atlanta. So if we go and select the throwback with red helmets, and you can see you can select different, you can have it snow at night if you wanted. Alright, so we will save, and if you look at this, we'll pause it right here. This is what I'm talking about the text being kind of backwards. Okay, on the other sleeve it looks normal, and the logo on the pants, and it looks really good. The only issue is when you go to the other side, it's backwards. Okay, so that's no good. And so we're going to fix that real quick, so you can just see how the editing process works. So that's the JPEG. I can't edit that one. It's the Buffalo throwback. So all I'm going to do is just delete these off of here. If we wanted, we could move this over and kind of put the head on it. Shrink it down a little. We could do this if we wanted. You just, and this is kind of the beauty of it, you make whatever uniforms you want. Change the shade, the tint of anything you want. So we'll put it on the sleeve instead. Or maybe let's do this. Let's put it on the pants right here. I'm actually going to make it slightly bigger. I'll go back to the original. Just scale this down. And we'll put it right there on the pants. That way, because if this gets flipped, it's not a huge deal. It still looks good. So I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to save it as a JPEG. And we'll call it Throwback Red Helmet as a JPEG. Close out of this, go Throwback Red Helmet, and we'll drag it over here. And then we'll replace it. And so now, instead of the logo there, instead of the Axis Football crest, we've got the Buffalo Bison logo. And one other cool thing that you can do this year is you can play against the same team. So if we wanted to do throwback red helmet and then just the regular home uniforms, we could. This is how you could do the coach mode and play against it. Alright, so here's what we've got. You see now the head is on the side of the leg, and that might be a little bit bigger than we want to do, so we might want to shrink it down a little bit. In fact, I think we're going to. We are over on this monitor. This is the old one. Let me get rid of this one. We want... This is this one we want. So we're going to shrink this down a good bit, actually. We'll do just like that. Okay. Save. Throwback red helmet. And you can also see why it takes so long to create uniforms. This is what it is. Place. Now let's try it for the last time. So again, one of the things I wanted to show you with this, in addition to being able to support tons of uniforms, unlimited numbers of uniforms, is hopefully now it's easier for you guys to understand how to switch out entire teams. So for example, hypothetically, if somebody wants to go through and recreate, my mouse isn't cooperating, recreate a different Atlanta team. So maybe instead of the Atlanta Hawks, or maybe instead of the Pittsburgh Steelmen, they want to create another team that's maybe in another league. All they have to do is go in, edit the midfield logo, the UI logo, helmets, they edit all of these, the player stats, the roster, uniforms, and now that entire mod for that entire team is located in a single folder. So if somebody does all of the mods for Pittsburgh or Oakland or whatever, it's now contained in a single file, and you just share that file. Someone's going to take it and they're going to drag it into here, and it's going to completely change the entire team from rosters to stats to logos to uniforms, everything. So it's all located in one file, in one folder, excuse me, which should make modding a lot easier. So that's what we got, and I'm going to show you one more thing today before we kind of finish up. I mentioned before in that little video I did about the issues of player warping, and I don't know if this was something that you guys noticed a lot, but when you would play quarterback,
Green 21.
shut the sound off, and you snap the ball, okay, and you're back. Where are we? We're back playing defense here. If you're back, dropping back for a pass, not playing defense, and you take your quarterback and you run a little bit, then you stop, and then you run a little bit and you stop, and I'm going to see if I can get it to happen here, so you see what I mean. So if you run and then you stop, and you run and you stop like this, what would happen in some of the previous versions is it would like warp your character back, and it was causing a lot of issues basically because of the way it looked. It looked really bad because your character would like take a step forward and then you would stop and then they would like warp back. And so we fixed that, as you can see. As you move the quarterback, he stops properly, and if you look closely at where he's holding the ball, you see it kind of like it's messing up a little bit. He like the ball doesn't quite catch up. The ball's not quite in his arm. That's something that I need to fix as we implement these new animations. And so we've got a lot of cool things coming up Doink. And so, yeah, that's about it for this one. Coming up on our next screenshot Wednesday, and ignore what it's doing here. That's because we changed these dynamically, and it's pulling stuff from an atlas. But as we for our next screenshot on Wednesday, we're going to be showing off some field goal nets that we've got. Joe did an awesome job of kind of redoing our field goal nets. They've got a cool design to them now with a logo in them. And we're also going to be hopefully showing off some of the audience. Right now, if you look at the audience watching the game, there are these ugly, flat, gray wearing people. And they're still going to be flat. There's not much we can do about that now. But we'd like to add some color to them. We'd like for you guys to be able to mod that stuff. So if you want to put random stuff in the stadium that's specific to a team, that's something that we'd like for you guys to be able to do. And I think adding color here would also add a ton to the game. So it's something we're really excited about. Yeah, so that's it for now. We're going to keep working on gameplay, keep working on transitioning the old UI into this new one. I know a lot of people have asked about franchise mode. We will certainly be getting to that. Once we have something, I'll show it to you. Kind of internally, we're caught up on how to handle saving your data between gameplay sessions, because the amount that we're going to have to be saving is now multiples of what it was before. Okay, so before we were basically just saving some season stats, what team you had, the records, and the schedule. But now we've got to save information for all the teams, because we're keeping track of rosters and that sort of things. So we've got like 15 times the data that we were saving before, and the way we were saving before won't work anymore. So we kind of put franchise mode just on the back burner for the past couple weeks. We're going to be getting to it here soon, but I wanted to work on these animations and stuff. And so once we have something to show for franchise mode, we will certainly do it. It will definitely be included in the 2016 version, so no worries there. But let me know your thoughts. Definitely comment below. Let me know what it is that you're looking forward to. And we will go from there. So until next Sunday, when we do our next development video, I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks.